8 signs an introvert likes you. In this video, we will outline some of the signs to look out for to help you know if that introvert in your life likes you. 1. They're vulnerable. You know introverts, right? They're not exactly the type to spill their life stories to just anyone. They kind of have this protective wall around them, and they only let it down bit by bit. Especially for someone they're starting to feel comfortable with. And yeah, you guessed it, it's not like a lightning-fast process. But if you've caught the eye of an introvert, especially one who's super reserved, they might surprise you by being a tad quicker to open up. So, picture this. They'll start sharing more about their personal stuff, their interests, and even dive into deep conversations that go way beyond the surface-level chit-chat. That's their way of saying, hey, I'm letting you in, and that's not something I do for just anyone. It's like they're giving you a backstage pass to their personal world, which, honestly, they usually only offer to those they're already pretty close to. 2. They spend more time with you. You know, introverts have this thing they absolutely swear by, their need for alone time. It's like their secret sauce to recharge, unwind after a hectic day, and just be in their own bubble. This solo time is like gold to them, seriously. Here's the interesting bit, though. When an introvert likes you, they might do something pretty special. They'll invite you into their cherished alone time. It's a big deal for them. So, if they let you in, it's like a neon sign flashing that they've got some feelings going on. Yep, for introverts, that's a pretty darn significant move. 3. Their small gestures give you a sign. Hey, speaking of little signs, keep an eye out for those subtle gestures from introverts. If a guy who's more on the introverted side likes you, watch for things like him holding the door open for you, trying to make you laugh, or being super willing to help you out when you're struggling with something. And if it's an introverted girl who's into you, she might step a bit out of her comfort zone. You know, like sending you a text or giving you a call, showing up in places you hang out, or laughing at your jokes. But here's the thing, whether it's a guy or a girl, introverts usually do something a tad out of the normal behavior to catch your attention and show they're interested. 4. They engage in your social media. When an introvert has some downtime to themselves, there are many things they could be doing. They could be reading a book, writing in a journal, listening to music, or scrolling online. However, they typically won't interact with anyone while they're on it. But if an introvert is crushing on you, check your notifications. You'll notice that they've been liking, hearting, or commenting on some of your posts and pictures. Introverts love social media because they can pick and choose who they talk to and when. They can also think out what they want to say. 5. They seek deep conversation with you. Hey, you know what's funny? Introverts really aren't into those surface-level chats. They kind of see them as a bit of a time drain, you know? Like, what's the point when you don't really get much out of it and you don't really get to know the person you're talking to? So, like, if you're the lucky one and an introvert actually likes you, they're all about diving into those deep, meaningful talks. It's like their thing, especially when they're into someone. Check this out: if an introvert's crushing on you, they might start asking you personal questions about your life. And, like, they'll share their own interests in such detail, you'd think they were writing a book about it. Oh, and here's a sneaky hint. When they let slip something personal, even if it's something small, that's like their way of letting you in, you know? They're dropping their guard a bit. And get this, an introvert who's into you won't be in a hurry to end the conversation. They'll find excuses to keep it going, trust me. Oh, and the kicker? If they're digging you, they'll catch on to something interesting about you and make a whole conversation out of it. It's like they're Sherlock Holmes or something. So, yeah, next time you're chatting with that introverted friend, keep these signs in mind. You might just be the star of their meaningful conversation show. 6. You notice an increase in physical touch. So, you know how introverts tend to be a bit more reserved in their conversations and interactions with people. Well, they're also pretty cautious when it comes to physical contact. You won't catch them going beyond the usual handshake, that's for sure. For introverts, things like hugs and physical greetings can feel like a big invasion of their personal space, especially for those who are more on the reserved side. Those warm, heartfelt hugs. Yep, they're usually reserved for people they truly feel comfortable with and trust. But here's the interesting part. When introverts start showing more physical affection, like giving high fives, quick side hugs, or those longer, embracing hugs, it could be a strong signal that they might be flirting with you. Keep an eye on how affectionate they become and how often they initiate these physical gestures. These could be pretty telling signs that they're really into you. 7. You notice unusual behavior. You know, when someone's into you, they're naturally curious about you. The outgoing ones, like extroverts, might just come straight up to you and start a conversation. But you know what? Even introverts can get creative with their approaches. And here's something funny. If you catch someone frequently liking and commenting on your social media posts, well, chances are they've been doing a bit of profile snooping, just to know more about you. It's harmless, really, just some playful research. So, if it seems like they know more about you than you'd expect, don't feel weirded out. Take it as a compliment, not as something creepy. 8. You get asked to hang out often. Remember when we talked about the whole alone time situation? Well, if you've got an introvert who's sacrificing their precious alone time to be with you, it's a pretty good sign they're into you. They won't just ask to hang out occasionally. They'll be doing it more frequently than the usual routine. This also means you'll have more chances to dive into those meaningful conversations. They'll want to know more about you, and they'll try their best to have a blast with you. Given how much introverts treasure their alone time, the fact that they're giving some of it up to spend more time with you is actually quite a special gesture. How should you react? Hey there, take a look at this list. It's not exactly a straightforward guide to figuring out if an introvert likes you. Unlike extroverts who might be more obvious, introverts tend to drop hints or do things a bit differently. So, if you're suspecting that an introvert might have a crush on you, here's what you could consider doing. Show that you value their time. Introverts cherish their time and don't like it being wasted. If they're spending a lot of time with you, it's a sign. Make sure to respect and acknowledge that. Open up a bit. Small talk might not cut it here. Even if you're not totally comfortable getting all vulnerable, create space for deeper conversations. Give them a chance to shine in a conversation that truly engages them. Pay attention to the small stuff. Introverts often do things quietly and subtly. These little acts might easily slip under the radar, especially if you're not catching on. When they do something nice for you, show your appreciation, return the gesture, or even just initiate a little contact to let them know you're noticing. Keep things comfortable. Awkward moments are a no-go for anyone. Especially if an introvert is choosing to spend their alone time with you, they really don't want it to be awkward. Make them feel at ease, so they can be their genuine selves around you. Finally, for you ladies, if you think understanding men is hard and want to heal your relationship forever, then you should definitely learn how to trigger their hero instinct. The best way to learn about this amazing psychology is by checking out the first link in the description right now. It's a powerful psychology guide that will teach you exactly how to make a man fall in love with you using reverse male psychology.